For a long time, Opel has been suffering from identity issues. However, it seems like in 2017, this all changed for the better, guys. They were bought by the PSA group, and since then, they've been releasing cars that really did intrigue a lot of people. Now, the Insignia was always the car I was interested in, but this Opel Grandland X was also another car I grew interested in. Whilst it's true they did have the generic image, they did sure have the economic values, and this Opel Grandland X is no exception. The Opel Grandland X starts at a price of 26,000 euros. This particular Opel Grandland X costs 36,000 euros. Is this good value for money or not? We are going to determine this in a moment, everyone. Let's get on with this review right now. Let's talk about the exterior design of this Opel Grandland X. I have to say that the front bears a lot of identity, because if you look at the front from this angle, it kind of reminds me of Opels from long ago. Especially, I'm talking about the 90s or early 2000s. I'm not sure why, but every time I look at this Opel from this angle, it reminds me of certain models that come from the 90s era. I like how the grille has a horizontal design to it. Looks interesting. And I like how it's a bit wavy. Very nice. And then you have a separate grille underneath. I like this Opel badge. It looks very interesting how this time, since the 2017, they've been writing Opel onto the badge. It's so cool, guys. I'm very much impressed with the side design of this Opel Grandland X. I was always a fan of this angle, and especially the front. Like, if you look at this from this side, it looks very, very sporty indeed. The alloy wheels are two-tone color. It's black in the middle and silver on the sides. It looks very nice, and it actually looks sporty. And for some reason, I really feel like this very much does pair well with the design. I like this aerodynamic design, everyone. So I like how there's a line that goes here. It eventually blends with this lighting, and then from here you have this aerodynamic line that goes all the way to the side indicator over here, and then eventually it stops. And then here you have this round edge styling. The Opel Grandland X has a two-tone color. So the roof is in black and the body color is blue. Now, I really like this color. It pairs almost perfectly with this car. I mean, just look at it, guys. Look at it. Now, okay, I wouldn't say perfect, but it's just one of the best colors that pairs well with this crossover SUV, if you know what I mean. Prominent part of the Opel Crossland where there's been a strong identity presence would be at the front. They've always had this chrome front. That's a really Opel aspect I've noticed. And then also those headlights. So you have the LED that's sort of in this shape. That's also another Opel identity. This design is present on almost every other Opel I've seen. And of course the rear light, guys. You have this shape. Now, whilst exploring the exterior of this Opel Grandland X, I noticed some reoccurring flaws already. This grille looks very proud and very big, but then for some reason, the top part of the grille is shut. It's not really a grille at the top, it's just plastic for some reason. Here you get some air intake, that's okay, fair enough. And then into the badge you get some air intake, fair enough. But then here also you get some air intake, but it's just this top that has no purpose for some reason. And it's, I think, the top half of this grille. Like, look at it, it's all the way until here. It's all just plastic. Now that is a bit questionable, guys. Like, why is it all plastic here and here's the air intake? For some reason, you have this area that serves no purpose whatsoever. It has this imitation of a vent. I assume this chrome is just there for the aesthetics, otherwise I was half expecting there to be some lighting or such. But I see neither. There's nothing there. The only thing I see here is a sensor. Now that's actually okay, but they've dedicated this whole part to the aesthetics of the Grandland X. It's a bit questionable. This is no air vent, but it's okay. I'll just try to understand the design philosophy. Another flaw I noticed about this Opel Grandland X is that you have this. It looks like an imitation. You have what looks like to be an imitation of a rear exhaust, but in reality it's just plastic. That's a bit questionable in my opinion. This is supposed to be your mud guard, so this is supposed to protect the body from getting splashes of mud and such. However, it does look a bit out of place. I like how you just have one bit of chrome up here, and it's like just above the windows, and then at the bottom there's no chrome. It's actually quite nice. It does present it's like an identity for this car. It's very nice because generic cars would always have the chrome trim here, but Opel did it otherwise. They did it another way. They have it up there. Now the side indicators of this Opel Grandland X is on here on the side, whereas most cars would always have it on the mirror. And also another thing is that those plastics are not there just for the aesthetics. Those plastics can actually save you a lot of money on long terms. Because in the long term, let's say if the paint job starts wearing away, if the paint starts to wear away or starts to have a sort of effect to it, where it looks a bit worn off, you can save a lot of money on this Opel Grandland X because this will prevent the wears. This is the interior of the Opel Grandland X, and it looks very, very interesting, guys. I really like the design. I like how everything is at your reach at its, most logic locations. And I like how this armrest tries its best to cocoon you, but in this seating position, the armrest is a little bit behind. So it's good. At least my elbow can relax on it. That's good. I like how this armrest on the door is good. I have it at a nice level. And the gear... I feel like the gear stick in this car is a bit on the lower side, If it was a bit more elevated, it would have been more interesting. But it's okay. It's fine. I cannot complain. This is the interior of the Opel Grandland X, guys. It's actually interesting. I like it. So here you have the media controls. Here you have the climate controls. So I like how they've put everything in one place in a logical location. And then here you have the driving controls. So lane assist. I like the shape they have here. It's very interesting. And this is something I've been noticing in all Opels lately. So you always have this U shape. And then here's the infotainment system, air conditioning. This has to be the tiniest hazard light button I've ever seen on any car, guys. I mean, look at it. It's so tiny. Oh, well, it's okay. It's notable. And then you have the center lock button there. Here's all the wiper controls. Here's all the indicator controls. And then here on the side, you have the lighting controls. I'm impressed with the level of this armrest, guys. It's quite reasonable for a car of this segment. You guys get extra storage right there. Oh, finally, a brand that thinks about protecting the hood latch. I mean, look at it, guys. They've kept the hood latch right here, protected. So there's no way you can accidentally open the hood latch. You get extra storage here, guys. 12-volt socket and USB connection. Very nice. And also, it's relatively deep. This has to be the biggest glove box I've ever seen on any car. I mean, I kid you guys not. Like, literally, this is the biggest and deepest glove box I've ever seen. Whilst exploring the interior of this Opel Grandland X, I noticed some reoccurring flaws. For a car of this segment and this price, I feel like the center storage is a bit thin. It's a bit small. It's deep. Now, the advantage of this storage is that it's deep, but the disadvantage is that it's a bit narrow. It's like a pipe, I'd say. Now, for some reason, these three... Now, here, this This and this look like they were supposed to be extra buttons, but for some reason they serve no purpose whatsoever. I mean, it looks like those were supposed to be extra options which could have been added, but if they were not added, they're just going to remain there without any purpose. Now this is the rear of the Opel Grandland X. I have quite a lot of space, and I have a lot of headroom, guys. I mean, wow, so much headroom. My legs are surprisingly comfortable. Oh my goodness! I mean, surprisingly, this car has some really comfortable values for the rear seat passengers. Wow. And I feel like, though, this armrest is a bit on the upper side. If it was a bit lower, it would have been more comfortable, but otherwise it's okay. It's as good as it has to be. Rear seat pockets, everyone. And, well, no climate control, but you get air vents and you get a USB connection. And at the bottom, you get a 12-volt socket. A nice handle and a nice light for the rear seat, guys. The size of this boot is pretty average for a crossover SUV of this segment, so I cannot complain. Another advantage is that this long door really does cover this part of the interior, so it's very good. No mud splash on the muddy day. So here's my conclusion about this Opel Grandland X, guys. Quality of this Opel Crossland is as good as it has to be for a crossover of this segment. However, the practicality was amazing, surprisingly, though it was a bit questionable in the center, but the glove box was one of the largest I've ever seen in any car. Rear seat was very comfortable. I liked it. Now, is the Opel Grandland X good value for money or not? Paying for the stylishness of this car, well, it's as stylish as it has to be, but the economic values as well. So it's very cheap to run, guys. My opinion of this Opel Grandland X. I love this Opel Grandland X, guys. I really do. It's special, it's something unique, and I think by far it's one of the most interesting crossover SUV in its segment at the moment, guys. In terms of identity, well, Opel is trying its best, and we have to support them for that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm just gonna enjoy the interior of this Opel Grandland X, and also, I'm just gonna brag how beautiful it is compared to other crossover SUVs.